Hello and welcome to a special episode of Video Games to the Max, our first E3 2016 edition, as we give our reactions to both the Bethesda Conference that just ended about an hour ago, and the EA Conference that ended this afternoon. We decided to just do them together because there really wasn't a whole lot to talk about from the EA Conference. Yeah, but I am not alone on this show. It's not just Mark either. We've got plenty of more Formula 1 Mania writers here discussing, or podcasters discussing things here with us. And joining me here today from the Backlog Busting podcast, Mr. Wes Harrington.
Hey, it's been a while. It has been a long time since I've done something besides a backlog busting project. But yeah, the interesting start to E3, I guess we'll go with.
And your cohort, who was on with Mark and I a couple weeks ago, got busy. So even though his name is there in the description right now, if you're listening live, he's not here with us right now. But hey, next, he says tomorrow he'll be here all day, as long as work is not a problem. But with us here today, though, is Mr. Daniel Anderson. Glad to have you back.
Thanks. It's always good to be able to work this in between everything.
Yeah, you have lots of things going on. And Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Yeah, and I am your host, Sean Garmer, and this is the official Foreign Game Zone podcast. And guys, might as well get into it here. Bethesda sets the tone for Monday. Don't think it was the total, I think the difference is when we had Fallout and Doom, which are much more known quantities, having gameplay taking up chunks of the conference, people didn't mind that so much. When you have Dishonored 2 taking up the last huge chunk of your conference, seems like people were voting more on that one. What did y'all think about what they showed and all that? Are you even excited at all for Dishonored 2?
Well, honestly, I think I kind of have to say I'm kind of surprised they had as much stuff as they did. Because going into this, when they announced they were doing another showcase, I think a lot of the thought was, holy crap, how are they going to have anything to show? Because they blew their load last year, to be a little bit cruder than I try not to be. But anyway, because last year they had, Doom, Fallout 4, Fallout Shelter, and all that other stuff. I think everybody kind of had an expectation of, okay, what could they possibly have? And I guess that what could they possibly have made it kind of into a kind of a hype loop, because everybody was expecting, Elder Scrolls 6 or, stuff they clearly weren't going
I don't
to have.
know who was expecting Elder Scrolls 6, because they clearly said Skyrim Remastered this year. I don't know where that was coming from. That must have been people just thinking that they were going to do both for some reason.
Yeah.
And that normally never happens.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I was, all the scuttlebutt I was reading from, places I frequent was like, Elder Scrolls. They have to have something like Elder Scrolls 6 up their sleeve if they're doing another showcase, and it's just kind of like, I'm not sure about that one. But what they did have was, I could find nothing wrong with what they announced today. I still find plenty wrong with the Elder Scrolls Legends, but I think we'll get to that later.
I mean, yeah, guy, Daniel, what did you think of just the conference in general before we start going into?
I thought they did a good job. I was a big fan of the first Dishonored. I'm happy to see Dishonored 2. I'm looking forward to it. I think they surprised a lot of people with just how they opened up the conference with Quake. Granted, we're probably not going to see it for a while, but still, the fact that they announced that they do have a new Quake coming was a big shot, and I think that was the thing a lot of people were expecting, new Elder Scrolls.
Mark, what'd you think?
I thought it was mostly fine. I thought Prey was actually kind of weak to me. Quake might be cool. I guess we'll see what happens with it. I kind of chuckled at Elder Scrolls just because I already have it on PC, and I can still blow that game out of the water on my PC than on that remastered version. And yeah, that Fallout 4 stuff looked kind of crazy to me though, because no one likes that building crap in that game in the first place, and it's like, here are 2 more DLC packs for it. It's like, great, thanks.
Well, clearly there must be an audience for it if they're keeping pushing it this hard, because they're clearly pushing it pretty hard.
And I hope Dishonored 2 is good, but it really reminded me of the darkness for some reason, especially at the end.
Yeah, lots of stuff in there from various games, honestly. I thought it was good. It wasn't great like last year. I think, me personally, I'm not a Dishonored person. I've only played the game for a little bit, and I just wasn't that big a fan of it. But, and I know I'm not alone. I know Mark isn't the biggest fan either. I know there are people that are huge fans of it, obviously. But, the other stuff, I guess we should start with the big surprise was supposed to be Wolfenstein 2, according to the leak. Well, I sort of just threw it out there to Mark at the end, during our predictions that, hey, what if there's a Quake? And I said it in the top 5. I said, well, why not? Just throw it out there, Quake happening. We get Quake Champions, multiplayer, shooter pretty much with Unreal Tournament doing so well on PC, and then also you got Overwatch and all the other things. Kind of seems like it's a good time to bring Quake back.
Well, that, and it's the last of the whole eternity they hadn't rebooted yet because they'd done Wolfenstein and Doom. So
the next one's going to be Hexen.
Yes.
Supposedly there's people asking for that. I mean,
shots fired. Shots fired.
Well, it was on 64, so maybe if they do something with it not on Nintendo 64.
Coming soon to the NX.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that'll be the big launch game for NX is Hexen. But any thoughts from you, Daniel or Mark, about are y'all interested in a Quake?
I'm interested in it. I have a feeling we're very far away since we didn't get any gameplay. We just got a nice movie about it, and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get excited just after watching a movie. I'm happy to see that they're bringing it back, but I was also happy to see that they were bringing Doom back, and happy to see they were bringing Wolfenstein back.
Yeah, and we also got the long-rumored, it's not Prey 2, it's a Prey reboot, it seems like. It's in the year 2032. Seems like you're repeating a lot of the same stuff over and over, I guess, until you get it right. And obviously another shooter to add into that Bethesda line of shooters at this point. Another game from Arcane, this time from Texas. We've been hearing about this, and it's there. The first Prey, I think, gets wrongly remembered as this, great game. I think it's just because it was one of the early actually good games for the 360.
It's a good first hour, but the problem is it's 15 hours long.
I don't know what to think about Prey, because I remember seeing the reveal for Prey 2, the original Prey 2, which...
Oh, I forgot to mention, it seems like Quake Champions is only on PC.
Yeah, and actually...
What did y'all think about no consoles for that?
Well, no consoles yet.
Yeah, exactly. After XCOM, you can't really... I think they're going to see if there's an audience for it on PC first.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to jump in and kind of say this when you started moving on to Prey, but since we got back to Quake Champions real quick, It's interesting to me that it looks like this is going to be their answer to Overwatch, from the sounds of it, because they kind of hyped up the arena based shooter with different characters with different abilities, sort of thing. There's another game from Bethesda that was conspicuous in its absence today, and for the last year actually, Battlecry.
Oh,
Brink 2, but Battlecry. Anybody else remember that game?
That might be.
Because I sure as hell didn't until after Bethesda's thing ended. I actually switched over to Drop Frames with Twitch streamers like CoCarnage, It's BJP, and CoCarnage said, "Okay, what about Battlecry?" And everybody on the panel went, "Oh yeah, that is a thing that exists," because Battlecry was them trying to do Overwatch a little bit more closely to the style of Overwatch. But now it seems like they're kind of going, "Oh, we have the Quake IP. Let's do a Quake Overwatch." And it'll be interesting to see if they're just silently sweeping Battlecry under the rug, or if they're going to try to support two different kinds of those games, or if we're just completely off the mark on Quake Champions.
No, Battlecry's probably done.
Or it's one of those that just kind of comes out under the radar and they don't say much about it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I now that I've been reminded of its existence, I think I remember last year around this time we were talking about Battlecry, and I basically said I think I remember basically going, "Why bother when Overwatch exists?" So, yeah.
I mean, Mark's probably right in that they might have canned it and said, "You know what? Let's show these guys how you do multiplayer shooter and bring back Quake." And Quake basically takes that Battlecry spot of what they were trying to do with that. I think once they got the big push from Fallout and you already knew you were coming with Skyrim, it's just basically do what everybody else does and do your known franchises and know the name's going to carry, because try to do too many new IPs, sometimes it flops and it hurts. So, anything on that, Daniel, before we...
Everybody's pretty much said what I was going to say. I do remember, I think it was back in October, there was some rumors that Bethesda was worried about it, but they were just the publisher, they weren't the actual developer.
Right.
And they could still, like was said, they could still release it, just not hype it up and see what happens.
Yeah, so I think did you have any feelings on Prey at all, Dan?
It's interesting. I'm fine with them doing a reboot just because of how long it's been since the original came out. But again, it was just a video. I want to see some gameplay before I really start getting excited about something or start thinking this is going to be the greatest game they're releasing. I think Prey's going to take the place of Dishonored next year. I think we're going to get a lot more information on it. And we'll probably see more gameplay. We'll see more videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. They just showed pretty much a vertical slice, very much the same way that we got Prey 2 previously. This time you have to think that they're actually going through with it after showing so much of it. But, you make a big deal about it, now you got to come in and deliver as far as that goes.
Hopefully they don't cancel this version and make a new one in 6 years.
I was just about to say. I mean, I think a lot of people at this point are going to be very much like that. They're going to be, okay, I want the disc in my hands, or I want the file to be downloading to my console or PC before I say anything else. Because that was a pretty interesting development history there. And this is speaking as somebody who didn't play the original Prey and just kind of followed along. And I actually remember kind of going, when the original Prey 2 reveal happened, I was like, oh, wow, that looks interesting. Maybe I'll need to play the original. And then it dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so funny how people actually remember that thing was supposed to be being made, and then all of a sudden here comes the rumor again, and well, they rebooted it, and I mean, you were talking about downloading just a little bit ago. The new thing this year, like they did last year, where you got Fallout Shelter, that day you can now go download the first level of Doom anytime this week, and you can play that on any PS4, Xbox One, PC, anything that it's available on. You can go check it out. That being said, they did reveal that there's going to be Doom DLC. I don't know if any of you guys are playing that at all.
Nope, don't have it.
No, not me.
No. And
yeah,
no for you, Wes.
yeah, no. I mean, it's cool that they're doing it, but
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing like Fallout 4. Fallout's getting. I mean, the other thing with both of these, and Fallout 4 is getting a bunch of DLC as far as like getting new contraptions and other things next week. They're getting new vault. It's basically now you can build your own vault in July, and the Nuka World theme park, which you can make your own theme park, I guess, in August.
That seemed more like a story thing.
Yeah, Todd Howard on the after stream said Nuka World is basically the Far Harbor of the second set of DLC. It's going to be a new area to explore with and be story driven and et cetera, et cetera.
But the villain will still be Walt Disney's frozen head.
Fucking nailed it.
I mean, I think all of you guys have Fallout, right? Except me.
I actually do not have Fallout 4 yet, because I don't own a next-gen console, and I still have not fully converted to the PC master race. I mean, I have a computer that would probably run it pretty decently, but
Are you excited about any of this, Mark?
I'm excited for the Nuka World. I could not give a fug about the other two things because that stuff is just bad. It's just poorly designed. So
you don't want to build your own vault and do
not
all
if
that?
Not if I have to use that interface. No, thank you.
Yeah, that interface is pretty rough.
You can't connect walls correctly in that game. Right angles. The most simple thing in construction, and it's impossible to do in that game.
Anything on your end, Daniel?
I just think it's funny they're trying to get you to build Rube Goldberg machines in Fallout.
Yeah, there's a Steam game called Crazy Machines that reminded me of that. That's the whole purpose of that game.
yeah. I think they're kind of trying to embrace, because a lot of people, I remember it being seeing several articles on Kotaku about how people were messing around with building settlement stuff, and I think they're just trying to embrace that sort of thing, going, well, you guys have already done some pretty creative shit with what we gave you, now here's even more Bughouse crazy stuff to do,
Yeah, but Fallout is not Minecraft, and those two worlds should not have met in the first place.
Fair point.
Yeah. Fallout Shelter at least going to PC, so more people can play it that don't like to play things on their phones.
You can get infinite lunchboxes now.
Yes.
I'm not a big phone gaming person, so I never really. You play with it, right, Wes?
Fallout Shelter? Yeah. No, actually, because it was Randy that got into it, because he actually had an iPhone at the time. So literally the night of, I remember this conversation. The night of, I think he was downloading it and playing it during the call last year. Just screw it, I'm playing Fallout Shelter. But I had and continue to have an Android phone, so it took a while for them to release it on Android, and by the time it released, I was just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
I might give it a shot when it comes out for PC, simply because I'm like you, Sean. I don't do phone gaming that much, mainly because my first real experience with it was fucking Candy Crush, and the that kind of predatory stuff that well, you can either wait 15 minutes to get another level, or you can buy 20 plays for $5, or bug 10 of your friends, that kind of stuff. That is one of my pet peeves. So, I'm sure there are plenty of decent phone games, and apparently Fallout Shelter is actually one of them that aren't that in your face about that sort of stuff. But the vast majority of the stuff I tried had that mechanic, and I got to the point where I was just like, yeah, screw it.
I mean, I played it when it came out for Android, basically because I have a job that requires 12 hours of sitting in front of a screen monitoring random alerts, and you get a lot of downtime. It was fun for about a week, and then it got old. I wasn't going to pay any money for it. It got old, it got boring, and I deleted the game and haven't touched it since. Or haven't even thought about downloading it again since, even though I know they've supposedly added a bunch of stuff or tried to make it more fun. It had almost no support to it whatsoever.
Speaking of Fallout, they just announced a new Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition.
Oh, again?
$350.
Oh yeah, Think Geek is making a deluxe Pip-Boy.
Yeah, not going for $350 for that.
It will still sell out.
Yes, oh yeah, the Dishonored 2 Definitive Edition or collect whatever thing already sold out. So,
doesn't surprise me in the least.
Those things do not take long at all with that.
Let's see here. The Fallout thing, though. Integrated screen and its own onboard software and hardware. This Pip-Boy pairs with your Bluetooth phone or tablet to give you access to your phone's ability to take and place calls, as well as contacts, SMS messages, and audio files. Even when not paired, the Pip-Boy Deluxe Bluetooth Edition can still be used as an alarm clock or a cosplay prop, displaying the status, special, and perk screens from the game. Oh, and did we mention that most of the knobs, dials, and buttons actually work?
So it's not put your phone in this and hey, you've got a Pip-Boy. It's an actual device this time.
It's an actual device that you can then pair with your phone to get actual useful stuff. If you want to be really fucking nerdy, like.
So it's a giant smartwatch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, yeah, that makes sense for it to be $350 then. Basically, you're paying for the game and then like $300 for the.
I don't think it has a game in it. I think it's just for this Pip-Boy.
Yeah, it's just the Pip-Boy.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Well, hey, if you can do all that with it, then I guess it's worth that money.
Yeah,
don't tell Randy. He might be.
Yeah, that was actually that's why he's gone, because he saw that happen and he immediately just started. He just freaked out and faced death so hard he passed out. I should probably actually go check on him.
I'm looking at the prices of the Apple smartwatch, and you're looking at $300, $350. So I guess you get it on a bigger screen.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you can wear it on your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can wear the smartwatches on your arm too.
Yeah, but it doesn't take up half your forearm.
Oh no, it doesn't. You look like you're walking around with a freaking like you're about to shoot someone with that thing. But yeah.
I just kind of wish they were going to have it out before October, because that would be an interesting Halloween costume. Vault Dweller with a Pip-Boy.
That would be interesting. You'd have to take a picture of that for sure.
Or excuse me. It would be the Sole Survivor, I think, is the name of the character in Fallout 4, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, because in Fallout 3 it's Lone Wanderer.
Yeah, and then Vault Dweller is either 1 or 2, I forget.
I think 1 for sure. So we're not done with that yet, though. They announced Doom and Fallout 4 for VR. but only on the Vive right now.
Yeah, I forget who exactly it was in chat said this, but somebody brought up they may have not mentioned specifically like PSVR or HoloLens, simply to let Sony and or Microsoft have that moment at their conferences.
I doubt they're gonna. You mean Oculus? I'm sure.
No, well, Oculus, yeah, technically,
They're
but
not gonna
Microsoft
put any of
also.
that stuff on HoloLens because it's not built for that.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, good point. Sorry, I just said HoloLens because of Microsoft, and I just remembered last year's
Hey, they could call
Halo
their
thing.
thing HoloLens for all we know. They could just be like, we have the HoloLens version of Oculus.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're damn sure not going to have it on the Rift.
Yeah,
Considering
what Mark said.
Yeah, they're suing John Carmack. They're having like lawsuits between the two, so I don't see that happening anytime soon.
And I would imagine on the PSVR, even with the new system, it's still probably not going to look as good as it would on the Vive, but you also don't, it is what it is.
My big concern is how powerful a computer will you need to run that thing.
Yeah, because you need a powerful enough computer already to run Fallout 4 and Doom as they are.
Well, the thing I'm curious about, and I know I said this in the chat as we were talking about it, since Bethesda has a history of working with Microsoft, could this lead into Microsoft announcing a partnership with HTC and leaving Oculus behind?
It's possible.
I doubt it, since they're already packing in controllers for the Oculus.
Yeah, but a controller's just a controller. I mean,
they might just want to do both. Hey, you guys got our controller, but these guys got the pairing with our system.
Can actually produce the headsets.
Yes, that would be a big thing. Can actually produce the headset.
I mean, I could see Microsoft wanting to make a splash, and
they have to. They have to now, because that's going to be a huge part of Sony's conference. If you're going to do anything with VR, you got to tell them at that conference.
Yeah, and I kind of think Microsoft's going to come out shooting for Sony this year.
They're gonna need a fucking sniper rifle at this point with how far behind they are.
Yeah, but if they can take some of the thunder away from Sony's VR by partnering with somebody and undercutting the price, I mean, who knows what could happen?
How much could they really undercut that price, though? You're talking about with the Vive, it's $800.
See, I don't see Microsoft partnering with the Vive at all, just because Steam's already partnered with them, and Steam hates Microsoft.
That's true.
Like, there's already that kind of business relationship with the Rift, so if they're going to partner with one, it'd probably be that one, even if they can't buy the thing right now.
I just find it funny that Bethesda went with them after what was it, last 2 years? They've always been kind of hand in hand with Microsoft, especially last year saying you can do the mods on the Xbox One. And then they kind of they continued that talking about the Skyrim remaster, where you can get mods on that as well.
Yeah, that's the last thing that we really haven't. These were really cool to experience. I'll say that. Getting to see Doom and Fallout 4 in VR, and them being such huge games. I mean, you're talking about games that are really made for VR. That would be those. Everybody is getting to experience that at that Bethesda conference. I certainly would say that I'm a little bit jealous. That's got to be pretty cool. They already announced that for 2017, I think, right? Is that what they said?
Yeah, Fallout 4, yeah, they said 2017.
So, yeah, there you know, big VR games coming already. And, yeah, the rest of it is all the stuff they did with Elder Scrolls, which they certainly went for it with Elder Scrolls. They announced the Elder Scrolls card game last year, didn't show a whole lot. This year, they show it's called Elder Scrolls Legends. Reminded me much more of Magic than it did Hearthstone, even though, yes, they all come from the same vein. It has single player packed in. It has the much more Magic no cartoony character looking stuff like Hearthstone. It's very much like the very serious Magic looking characters, and those Magic actual video games they're actually pretty good. If Elder Scrolls can kind of do that, then I think they're okay. And the single player thing is sort of intriguing because we know Hearthstone charges you to enjoy their single player stuff. So we have that. We have the Elder Scrolls Online, which supposedly has 7 million players. They go to Japan in June. They have a new expansion and this one Tamriel thing, which basically makes it to where you pay and you get to do whatever you want. So pretty much you pay, instead of paying and leveling up, you're basically paying to get a free get to your friend's level thing.
Yeah.
But you do have to go through the tutorial.
Well,
yeah,
that's kind of...
yeah. So essentially what they've done is they've basically made the character boost thing that World of Warcraft has been doing since Warlords of Draenor. They've made that into a permanent thing, and they've made it game-wide. Because, Blizzard introduced paid character boosts with Warlords of Draenor, and they're continuing it into Legion. And then Legion also has all of the Legion zones are going to be scaled to whatever level you are at the time. So you can do the zones in any order. And one Tamriel kind of sounds like that, except applied to the whole game. I've got some serious stats about that 7 million number, too. I think that's basically them puffing up their numbers a little bit and puffing out their chest, going, hey, 7 million people bought this game, and then 6.5 million of them realized it was crap and went back to World of Warcraft or something else. But 7 million people bought this. Yay. And also, I'm pretty sure Dark Brotherhood has already been out on PC, and they were hyping it up for the console release coming up later this month, which... Again, kind of a shady thing to do. I kind of think, but it is what it is. I just remember everybody saying "stay away" when the game launched on PC, and I've seen nothing since then to change my opinion on that. So,
yeah.
They did mention that Dark Brotherhood was on PC, but. I mean, it was really quick and in passing. I can see 7 million people worldwide playing it at some point in the last year, but as people get bored, they try stuff out, they try anything. I don't know. I think they're trying really, really hard to get new people into the game, and that's what their newest thing with everybody can do. Anything once you get through the tutorial is geared towards, but I don't think it's going to work, and I think we'll hear free to play next year.
Yeah, I question the entire point of this thing. It's like, isn't the whole point of like the RPG to level up your character and get better? Like, what's the end goal for this? Is if you already hit 90 or whatever the hell the level cap is in that game? It's like you have to look forward to.
I think they might mean that it's kind of like the reverse of what you do in an MMO, where you can play with your friends at that level, but you can also scale back down. I don't know how that would work necessarily, but I don't... kind of like how in The Division it downscales to the other person's level if you're playing with somebody lower than you.
Okay, there are 4 people here. How many people do you know who are playing this game?
Well, none of us.
No. I meant globally. Like, how many people, like friends, acquaintances?
Oh no, I don't know anybody that's playing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
Tumbleweed rolls by in the background.
I think WoW is at 5 million right now, and
I think it's a little higher than that. And the last I heard, it was at 6.5 million. I wouldn't be surprised to see that number jump with the Warcraft movie coming out recently. Go see it in theaters now. Blizzard, please pay me money. Oh.
I'm pretty sure China was their...
Yeah, that's the only reason that movie made money.
Yeah.
China's going to be the place where it's making money, and everybody else, it's not going to do that well. But
No, it already didn't do that well. It kind of bombed in America.
Yeah, Conjuring 2 beat it in the box office.
yeah,
By like double the money.
My inner Blizzard fanboy is crying in shame because I am going to have to go see that movie in theaters. Okay. I'm going to prepare myself for disappointment. Anyway, sorry.
yeah, and then we get the very lackluster Elder Scrolls Skyrim remastered. Like, they did not make a big deal out of this. Just bunch of text over how it looks now compared to the PS3 and 360 versions, and that's it. Like, I figured they would have made a bigger deal about it, but
Well, as opposed to the Batman reissue, at least this one looks better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally
Well, they did mention mods as well.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mods. Yeah.
But they didn't have the Randy Savage dragon, so what the hell is the point?
But isn't that what everybody's complaining about? Oh, these people are just focusing on remasters. They're not doing anything. I mean, Bethesda said, hey, we're doing a remaster on it. You're going to see these improvements. You're going to be able to use mods.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with them just going, yeah, we're making Skyrim for the next-gen consoles. Moving on. You know, because it's Skyrim. You should already know what you're getting by this point with Skyrim, but with a new coat of paint on the next gen consoles with mod integration. Sounds like a plan to me. The one thing that kind of came up again after the show went off the air. Bethesda did send out a tweet later because confirming on PC at least, if you own all of the DLC or if you bought the Legendary Edition of Skyrim and you bought it before a specific point, you will receive a free upgrade to the Special Edition when it releases in October. Which is kind of a cool move, and hopefully they try and work something out with like Sony and Microsoft for people who own those specific editions on the previous gen consoles. That would be kind of cool to see, but given the cluster mess that was Rock Band 4's, I mean, I suppose that's kind of apples and oranges, but
Wait, what are we talking about? I mean, Rock Band 4 pretty much got fixed, but it's gonna take them. They're not gonna really do a whole lot with that. I mean, you're gonna get it on your PS4 and your Xbox One, and it's gonna be what it is. I wonder if they would even consider doing that, like at least for Xbox One, like make it backwards compatible. But I'm sure they wanna. Have they even done? I don't think any of them have done that yet. Where a game that came out for an HD is also backwards compatible?
Saints Row 4.
Oh, Saints Row 4 is the only one? Okay. But it's just, like, that's going to be rare, I think, that we see that. I think that's it for the, we talked about everything on Bethesda, and we're going to get really quick through the rest of this because EA didn't do I mean, did anything stand out to you from that? I know you didn't like it, Mark, but did anything from that Dishonored 2 gameplay sort of have you interested in?
It looked great, but I just don't think like the gameplay is just going to hold up. Like that was my problem with the first one. It's like it looked fantastic, it sounded fantastic, but actually stealthing around that city was kind of a nightmare because your powers in that game are very limited, and it's just a bunch of waiting around for them to recharge. And I was watching this one, and I noticed the same thing. Like, once you blink, you gotta wait for a few seconds for it to power back up. It's like, great.
Don't they both have two different... Oh, it's just different weapons, right, between him and Emily?
Different powers, too.
Yeah, different. Yeah. Like, she has that, like, darkness-looking whip thing, and he has, like, the regular stuff.
Ah, fair enough.
Well, see, the one thing that struck me about the first game... I'm normally not a fan of stealth games. I hate them. But I couldn't get enough of the first Dishonored. I loved it. At the time, I said you're basically playing as Nightcrawler who wants to kill people. And
yeah. Go on.
Well, it's it's weird because I hate stealth games. They drive me crazy. I hate games that they just throw a stealth level in there for no reason. But that entire game I enjoyed, and I went back and played it repeatedly, trying to get the no kill. I mean, trying to make it to where I didn't kill anybody, trying to discover all the secrets, the different paths I could have taken. I mean, I'm looking forward to this one. Now, whether I'll play it as much, probably not, because I have less free time. But I would still sit down and try to play through it, at least with both characters, just to see how the stories differ.
See, I recommend you look up a game called, or play a game called Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay. And I'm not being sarcastic. Like, that's what kind of ruined Dishonored for me. That's a stealth. Butcher Bay is a stealth game, but you have a lot more environmental awareness of what's going on, and like better stealth mechanics. I thought, even though you don't have powers, so you're just a dude with a shiv.
Well, the other thing I'll say about Dishonored is it kind of came out of nowhere. Nobody really. It wasn't hyped. It was kind of a quiet release. Nobody really expected anything from it. So I was able to overlook some of the issues present in it that you were describing just because it wasn't heavily hyped. It wasn't pitched as the next AAA game. It just kind of appeared and said, hey, give it a try, and that's what I did.
Yeah, I have it on, I think, both my 360 and PS3 from the when they put them out there for free. I think I need to just try it and see. I'm normally not a big stealth person either, but who knows? I mean, the gameplay, this all looks great. I mean, they had shots of the water flowing and it looked fantastic. And then when they actually showed gameplay, it was really well done. Just
I know. I noticed a couple of rough edges, kind of like animation wise and sound wise. Might have just been the stream, but. When the game's coming out,
Fallout 4 wasn't perfect either, and still isn't. So
true. No, yeah, I get that. I'm not trying to say absolutely perfect, but like there were a couple points where I was like, how'd that make it into a presentation build of the game? Because like like a couple of the kills had no sound play whatsoever on my end. And the animations kind of looked a little jarring to me, like the mid-air kills when you pull when they showed pulling somebody with far reach and then killing them. It to me it looked like they were pulling with the far reach, and then as soon as the body got in range, it was just all of a sudden, oh hey, I've stabbed them in the neck. And I did not see a transition, like the thing come out and come towards the neck. It was just, oh hey, the body's in range, boom, shiv in the neck.
I thought they were pulling it onto the blade.
Okay, I mean that's entirely possible. I could just have missed that, but it was just kind of like, I mean, other than that, and that's just minor stuff. That's stuff that probably is going to get fixed between now and November. Other than that, it looked good to me, speaking as somebody who has not played the original Dishonored either. Ugh, there's a lot of shit in the last couple of years I've missed.
it happens, man.
As long as Susan Sarandon is back in this game, I'll be happy.
Nice.
Alright, so we move on to EA, which didn't have a ton of things to show other than just telling you about stuff. And then the one game that they really did show a lot of was Battlefield 1, and that wasn't really even at the conference. It was in a 1-hour gameplay demo afterwards. They started off with Titanfall 2 confirming the single player. The trailer had already leaked earlier that day. There's 6 new Titans instead of the 3, just the 3 from the previous game. Of course, it had the grappling hook. There was the pilots can get out of there, and there was one that grappled one to the other and killed him. And they had the story mode is pretty much like the Titan is basically trying to protect the pilot and stuff like that. That was kind of interesting, and it seems like there's going to be some kind of progression system. Comes out the same day as what was the game that comes out? Is it Dishonored 2? Or one of the other games they showed today comes out October 28th. Can't remember. But, yeah, I mean...
October 28th, the only one I can think of would be Skyrim Remastered.
Yeah, Skyrim Remastered, yeah. So, which I'm sure will still sell boatloads from the people just talking about and remembering how great they thought it was and all that. You certainly excited now for Titanfall 2 now that you know there's single player, Mark?
Yeah, but the single player just reminded me of the Iron Giant.
Nothing wrong with that. The Iron Giant was a great movie.
It needs Vin Diesel to be the voice actor, though.
You into it with the single player, Daniel?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I enjoyed the first Titanfall for what it was. I got tired of it because there wasn't a single player, and
there's no progression.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I heard that it got better as it went on, especially with the waves. Some of the, the PvE instead of just player versus player. But, I mean, I played it for about 2 months and then just got tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly much more interested now with the single player being involved. I really didn't care too much for it when it was just multiplayer. Good that there's going to be new Titans, and the grappling hook thing looked cool to the point where I think we're going to see a lot more games now have that grappling hook. But we'll see how it progresses, and when we get to that October release date, how it looks. There is a beta test you can sign up for, too, if you want to, I guess, help them out in the beta. Now, they did introduce Madden, but it was basically there so that you could they could talk about their new esports initiative, which they did this both in LA and in London. So you have Peter Moore in London pretty much doing stuff. And the esports stuff kind of seems cool. They got 3 different... EA will host stuff. You got other people hosting stuff, and then you got... On a lower scale, you can talk to EA about how you could host stuff. I don't know how that's going to work, but the only thing that stood out to me is it definitely has to be a work that guy that's in second place supposedly broke his arm doing a foot race with somebody. Who has a foot race in 2016?
It's like I explained in chat. Him and his friend were going on to get ice cream from the truck, and he only had enough for one, so that's what happened.
The running theme of this show was everything is now on the Frostbite engine, by the way.
Great.
So, the Frostbite engine is basically saving EA. They have spent all the money on it, so now all the games will be made with it. Including Mass Effect Andromeda, which the story will be about leaving the Milky Way for Andromeda and trying to find a new home. And then... Yeah, they talked about it. They really didn't do a whole lot with it.
They showed about 10 seconds of gameplay, and the stupid Mako is back.
Yeah. EA as a whole
showed no gameplay from anything.
Yeah.
Well, no, except for the Fee game. That's about it.
Yeah, which was again them kind of going, oh hey, we got a lot of internet reaction for pushing that poor Unravel dev up onto stage, nervous as all hell, clutching on to his Yarny figurine for dear life. Let's do that again this year and have another poor sap almost have a heart attack live on stage. If it happens again next year, I'm going to be very concerned.
No, that'll just be Peter Moore on stage having a heart attack about FIFA.
Oh, God. Daniel, were you into Mass Effect?
I didn't see the video. I was at a surprise birthday party. But
No, you didn't miss much. That's the thing. They showed nothing.
Yeah, you literally missed, the facial animation rig for an Asari.
Which looked bad. It looked terrible.
It looked like it almost looked like they were taking a cheap shot. Remember that the dog from Call of Duty Ghosts a couple years back? It almost looked they were. It almost looked like they were like, oh wow, that did really well on the internet. Let's throw something like that in. It's just
I'll say this about Mass Effect. I don't really expect to see much until maybe a month before the game's release.
Right.
So I wouldn't really expect to see anything. I was expecting to hear a lot more about their upcoming Star Wars games, or the games in development.
Yeah, they talked about them. But
which they talked about and pretty much told you
nothing.
Yeah.
They showed 5 seconds of the Visceral game, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And it's just
and it was in a still shot. It was no gameplay.
No, they showed like a pre-alpha version of like a guy walking out on Tatooine and seeing a TIE fighter go by, and that's it. And it's like,
and then they confirmed that there's is it an update to Battlefront or is it Battlefront 2? I didn't get that.
They never said Battlefront 2, but Lando is in it, so you can finally go buy the game.
Yeah.
They also pretty much confirmed they have pretty much every fucking studio they have working on a Star Wars game. Like I'm pretty sure they'll also unveil PopCap is doing like Star Wars Peggle or something.
Yeah, because even Criterion is doing.
Yeah, Criterion is on Star Wars, and it's like, boy, rest in peace, Criterion, huh?
Yeah. Well, no, somebody did point out something that would be kind of cool if it was actually what Criterion was doing. Pod Racer.
Yeah, but it's not, because that's all related to the first or the episode 1, and they're steering clear of that.
They are trying to make you forget that those exist. I mean, with sort of good reason, but still, it's part of your canon. You should sort of embrace it, especially with how beloved that Pod Racer game sort of is, especially it's still in arcades and stuff.
It's the one positive thing that came from that movie.
And I guess.
Oh, how about go with swoop or speeder bike races instead?
Well, you could do that. You could certainly do that.
Millennium Falcon racing.
They did show the Millennium Falcon in there as well, so the play to give thing is cool. Good that EA's doing that. You can play games like Battlefield or Battlefront and Madden and complete in-game challenges, and they get donations to certain charities. So they announced the charities. I don't have them on hand, but it's some pretty big time world charities too. So the EA Originals thing was pretty much the only thing they showed gameplay of at the show itself. It's a game called Fee. There's an animal that you're interacting with the world with.
It looked like a 3D version of Ori mixed with Journey.
Basically. You learn songs. That's how you interact with the characters or whatever. And it looks cool. It's not going to be it's another Unravel $20 game that
EA will expect to sell 8 million copies of.
Yeah, I mean that will sell decently and get some critical acclaim maybe, and do its thing. FIFA now has a NBA 2K story mode. It's called The Journey, and pretty much you start from the bottom and you start, and then you go on to play in a Premier League team. They highlighted Manchester United, and there's now managers in the game, but it's only 4 of them out of the gazillion managers that are in soccer. And you have all those licenses, but you're only going to have the manager. You don't even have the managers for one entire league. It's hilarious. At least with the American leagues, you have the coaches for most of the teams. Yeah, I mean when that's your biggest reveal, other than the single player. I mean, yeah, those managers that you hardly ever see.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, it was funny when they showed that retrospective of FIFA. The first game was isometric, and it would have been so cool if they said, "And we're going back to an isometric perspective."
Just to piss off everybody.
I'd be like, "I'm on board. I'm gonna go buy that one now."
Yep. Yeah, I've never been much of a sports fan, gaming wise, or honestly in real life until a couple of years ago. But but it's rather telling to me that, like you said, the biggest stuff they had was FIFA, and it just seemed going into today. If you had told me,
I mean, it is the biggest game in the world selling wise.
True.
So
it's telling that they did that part in London, because if they did that in L.A., people would have fallen asleep in their chairs.
Well, hey, they learned from last year when everybody fell asleep because Pele was talking.
Jose Mourinho's much more charismatic than Pele. Let's be honest there.
Was that the guy that was talking this year?
Yeah, he has much more of a.
Is he like a real actor or a football player?
No, that's the coach. He's been a coach for various big time teams.
No, I meant the first guy talking about the journey, like that dude.
Oh no, that guy is an actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was like feeling it, man. It was
great. he was. I mean, at least he was totally getting you into it, though. Like, I'll say this: I love the stories in the NBA 2K games, which you can get the NBA 2K16 for free on PS Plus right now. If EA can figure out how to do that with FIFA, I actually might buy that game. And I haven't bought that game in I want to say like 3 years now. So
I'll just hire Spike Lee for it.
That's when they got worse.
Yeah, play as frequency vibrations in a soccer game this time. God alive.
Can I be Boombox Raheem in FIFA? Because, again, I'll buy that if I can.
I mean, what did you guys think of Battlefield? Pretty much what we expected, right? It's Battlefield in the World War I setting with the World War I weapons and,
Yeah. Yep. It's a shooter.
Some of the stuff they talked about was kind of zany, like the whole armored airship and armored trains. It's like,
yeah, and there's Zeppelins going down and stuff like that. Yeah,
I mean, it looked great, but also like no one cares about those weapons. It's like you can take a shot off with a rifle and then wait 2 minutes for it to reload, and then take one more shot off, and it's like I hope you're good aim.
Yeah, and they have the old machine guns that have the bullets coming out from the side and the flamethrower, at least.
It's like, so is there a perk system where if I hit rank 10, I can call it a mustard gas attack?
We'll have to find out. They avoided talking about that, though.
Yeah.
So,
gee, I wonder why.
There's dynamic weather, guys, that will change.
Just like in every game they showed this year.
I mean, whoever thought that we'd be talking about weather that changes is the big feature. And then,
yeah.
Work for Dishonored.
True.
But I made this joke before we went on air, but the highlight of this entire thing was when they did the whole celebrities playing at the end, and they zoomed in on Snoop Dogg clearly smoking a joint and not having a single solitary care in the world. Look at the concentration! Puff of smoke coming out of his mouth.
He won one of them, didn't he? He won like the second game or something.
I wasn't watching at that point. I saw that and I just clicked off stream because I was like, yeah, we're done here.
Are you interested in Battlefield at all, Daniel?
No, not. Oops, sorry.
I'm a little interested just because it's a new setting. I'm willing to give it a try, see how it goes. I'll probably enjoy it more than I enjoy the modern games where it just feels like it's a Twitch fest. This at least makes it less likely that somebody's going to come around the corner with a submachine gun and kill you in 3 shots before you even know they're there.
Any thoughts, you guys?
I just got a feeling they're sending that game off to like the hardline death. Well, this is like a stopgap before they get Battlefield 5 on track.
That's gonna be so confusing. You have Battlefield 1, and then you go, oh, we went all the way to Battlefield 5 next year. Like, I have to imagine they're gonna stop with the numbers.
Look at the Xbox One branding. That should tell you how stupid some stuff can really get.
Oh, well, a little birdie told me the Xbox One's getting the Xbox One S, which is, oh my god.
Well, yeah, the Slim.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed.
And then whatever the hell they end up calling Scorpio. Oh my lord.
Well, I mean, the Xbox One S is okay, because that's kind of what all these things become when you get a Slim version, but yeah. I don't know. I think that's a slippery slope with it. Me personally, I would give. If y'all had to give a grade for these conferences, what would you give it?
I'd
Mark?
give.
Go ahead, Wes.
Sorry, I'd give Bethesda a solid B. There were some pretty good announcements in there, but there were a couple things that were just kind of clunkers. Or why is this still a thing that's happening? Pretty much everything Elder Scrolls related that wasn't the remaster. And then EA, I'd probably have to give an incomplete because seriously, going into today, I would have figured like Bethesda would have been the show going, why does this exist? Because EA had a pretty content light show last year too, didn't they? Wasn't last year the year they were like, here's a bunch of concept art for stuff we're
No,
doing.
last year was just they had a ton of like they kept showing like all these things you didn't necessarily care about, and they took forever with Pele, and
Oh yeah,
that was the year
sorry.
before that they had all the concepts art and the developer interviews and all that crap. So it's like 3 years in a row now that they pretty much just half-assed this.
Yeah, and it was just like, hey EA, guys, you're supposed to have something more substantial by this point, and they really didn't.
I think what their deal was, and Andrew Wilson kept saying it was, this is just kind of a formality thing. We're here so you can enjoy the games that we have at these booths and all that stuff. So they didn't really care about.
So you can play the game.
Yeah, so you can play the game.
That was awful.
Well, I think EA normally has a lot of their stuff shown in the like Microsoft or the Sony press conferences as well.
Yeah, because EA normally comes on after Microsoft. It's weird for them to be first before everybody else.
Yeah, so I think you might see more coming out of EA by the end of the day tomorrow than you did in this press conference.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see who gets what.
I'd probably give Bethesda like a B-, and EA maybe like a D.
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
B. Oh, sorry.
I was going for that too. B and a D.
Yeah, I can't say what EA got because I didn't see it, but I was very happy with Bethesda's press conference. I mean, it gave you enough, hey, this is what's coming out this year. Here's some stuff we're building on for next year, and then we'll see what they do next year. If they're going to announce a new Elder Scroll game or if they're going to go with something else.
Except for Quake, like all of Bethesda stuff seemed real, or at least possible. All the EA stuff, except for that Fee game and like Battlefield, obviously, looked pretty theoretical still. Like all their Star Wars games looked like, this will come out in 2018, or like Mass Effect. It's like showed a Mass Effect trailer that had less than the leaked trailer from 2 months ago.
Yeah. And I mean, last year all they showed was basically like the logo, and then this year we've got hardly anything. And
yeah,
I mean, a lot of grandiose talk about it. They made it a very big point that it has nothing to do with the first three.
Except Rex will still be there somehow.
Yeah, it just basically they're giving you a bigger place to play in.
Will we see Mass Effect 3 in one of the Microsoft or Sony's press conference?
You mean Andromeda or?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Andromeda. It's been a long week.
That could be possible. You know that they had something bigger to show at one of the other conferences. But again, it's so weird when you have EA go first that like, you know. If Microsoft was going to get something bigger, you would have thought they would have just let EA have it, and then you get Microsoft having something bit of it. You know, we'll see how that goes. I guess any predictions you want to throw out for tomorrow? At least mainly the Microsoft one because it's the one that we won't get to. We'll get to do previews, I guess, for the other two before they happen. But this will be the last time we get to talk for Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft, I'd probably say I'm kind of curious to see if I mean I know the Slim leaked, but I'm kind of curious to see if they say anything about Scorpio, the one that's going to have a bit more power in it to deal with to go up against the PS 4.5 or Neo or whatever the hell they're calling it. But other than that, I'm kind of racking my brains thinking of anything they could actually bring up. I mean,
Do you think we do get the VR thing or no? Because
probably.
Sony was very careful to make sure the Neo came out before E3. They said they don't want to have it at E3.
Yeah.
Like I've been saying, we got a Blinks the Time Sweeper 3 from Microsoft finally.
Man.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, with all the Ratchet and Clank and all that stuff coming, if they can actually make a good Blinks the Time Sweeper.
We're finally going to get Fusion Frenzy 3. The trilogy will be complete.
I'd go for that.
No. You were talking about how they needed to fire some shots at Sony. Here's the ultimate shot. Microsoft's partnered with Activision. Crash Bandicoot reboot. Oh, no.
Man, Crash is coming to Skylanders, and that's the most depressing thing ever.
Wait, is that an actual confirmed thing? Or
No.
Thank God. Sorry.
Not yet.
That should have been a thing, though.
If it does happen, I'm going to track you down and I'm going to hurt you. Anyway, sorry.
Daniel, anything?
I think we're going to see Microsoft announce something with virtual reality, and just for fun, because I'm a glutton for punishment. Let's say they're going to announce a new MechWarrior game for the console.
Hey, you never know.
Steel Battalion with an even more convoluted controller.
Oh, jeez. Don't remember that stupid thing. Man, I'm trying. I think we'll get something with Battletoads for sure this time. Even though Rare's busy with Sea of Thieves, I think definitely we're getting more Sea of Thieves this time. They don't have the Rare replay to show off.
The Rare replay.
I'm assuming we'll actually get something from Crackdown this time, because we really haven't heard a lot about Crackdown since 2 E3s ago.
Oh, another one we haven't heard of, Scalebound.
Well, Scalebound got delayed. Don't know if they actually have anything for that. But, yeah, I'm sure they'll announce the Slim.
Oh, yeah.
I think they have to announce the VR thing. I think you can skate around, just like Sony is. Skate around the whole you need another system for it. Just announce that you have a partnership and that it's coming. And then you can get away with saying the thing about the Scorpio or whatever later. Just, I just think you announce. I think this is why Sony's avoiding it. Is you announce that there is another system you have to buy right now. This is going to put people on some high alert, and you don't want that, I think.
Yeah, especially if you're Microsoft, because again, like I said, they've got a lot of ground to make up at this point. I'm just not sure. They would have to pull some serious megatons at this point.
If you were Microsoft, would you view the Scorpio and Neo as brand new systems and just start the tracking over from there?
I mean, with the NX coming out, why not just start a whole console generation?
I'm sure Microsoft would love to do that, but I'm not sure Sony will.
I mean, it doesn't really matter who says that this generation has to last another 10. I mean, yes, we the consumers want it to be that way because, we the gamers, because we don't want to have to pay $400 again or whatever, and they don't want to start sending that message, but that message is going to come eventually. Everything else does these. I don't like it. Trust me. I don't want to have to think about, oh crap, I'm going to have to spend $400 again when I just spent $400 a couple of years ago or whatever. I don't want to have to think about it either, but that's something we do have to think about. Even if it's not this generation, the next one, these mid-life cycle things are going to happen more and more, just like with the phones, with everything else. It's going to happen. Mark, you have any predictions or
Minecraft 2.
Minecraft 2?
Sure. Make it voxels now and be like it's Xbox One and Xbox One and Windows 10 exclusive.
Oof. Talk about shutting down an audience for that.
Be great.
You think that would... Man, do you really think it could get people to buy the Xbox One if you go, okay, it's...
people would probably be like, I'll just wait until the 10,000 clones show up.
Well, no, you can get it on PC because it's not like the graphics are going to be like ridiculous. It's Minecraft. So.
Well, no, I guess what I'm trying to say is, people who would know what Minecraft is enough to care about a sequel would also know what happened with the original Minecraft and just be like, oh, I'll just wait for the 1,000 Minecraft 2 spin-offs.
It'd be an offshoot, but I actually wouldn't mind Project Gotham Racing coming back also. That was a pretty cool game, or pretty cool series.
I wonder if they'll bring that back with, you got the 2 versions of Forza.
It's different enough.
I mean, they did say that they'd be open to a 3rd version of Forza. I don't know what that would be, but...
Either that or probably like dirt racing stuff, something like that.
Yeah, possibly. Alright, well, I think we kind of covered everything here. We'll be back tomorrow, or later today, whatever, when you're listening to this, which is already tomorrow in 2 time zones that we're in the United States here, with the Microsoft Conference, and then we'll have one for Ubisoft and the PC Gaming Show, which comes on an hour before Ubisoft, and then for some reason it's going to bleed into the Ubisoft Conference as the people are going to be watching it still by then.
Which for some reason still exists, let's be honest here.
The guests this year are way better than last year.
That's not setting a very high bar.
I know it's not, but I mean, as long as they don't have the AMD guy come and talk for like 30 minutes like last time, that's the last 30 minutes of the show.
Well, there's still an AMD guy showing up there, so...
correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't like the biggest thing to come out of the PC Gaming Show last year the Pillars of Eternity expansion?
That, and that's where he made Phil Spencer made the announcement of like that they were starting to do the whole Xbox on PC thing, or the putting Xbox that they're going to have that partnership with the Windows 10 or whatever. I think.
Yeah, because that's worked so well for them so far.
Yeah, just awesome. And I think they had a No Man's Sky thing too, if I remember.
Yeah, but everybody had a No Man's Sky thing last year.
Yeah,
and everybody's probably going to have one this year too, because that game's not coming out until August now again.
Yeah, I wonder if Sony's going to bother with that though. I mean, how much more have you got to show? They showed a ton already. I cannot imagine they have a ton with that.
So something just came across my news feed real quick while we're still in this talking about these shows. Chris Avellone is actually working on the Prey reboot.
That's cool.
He's a decent writer.
Yes, he is. That actually ups my excitement quotient a little bit because he's written some pretty good games. So yeah, that's interesting.
Anything any of you guys want to say in closing before we get out of here?
I missed the Hoop God.
Nailed it.
Well, you can, of course, so if you enjoyed it, this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, now on SoundCloud, Spreaker, wherever you can find podcasts, we are there. You can subscribe to Wes's Backlog Busting Project, where they take 3 games every 2 weeks and talk about them, usually of the before 2016 variety. But,
yeah.
It's still pretty awesome to listen to both him and Randy banter about both. They take a lot of time to sit there and play those games, and so
I will say it's been kind of interesting these last couple episodes to be doing games that are relatively recent.
Yeah, the Life is Strange discussion was very good. Enjoyed the heck out of that. Daniel, tell the people what you do.
411 Games Fact or Fiction goes live every Wednesday. And just to continue the tradition, or restart it, Quantum Leap, Doctor Who, piss off Randall.
Colin Winslow, what else is going on?
Yeah, I was trying to let Kellen Winslow die. But
There's probably more
go
of them
to your
that I
local Boston market.
Yeah. Oh man, that was pretty much a meme of this podcast for a while. Mark,
I just do the 8-ball. It went up tonight actually about my E3 predictions for this week, and I review occasional games.
yeah, 4 PC will be all about E3. The top 5 will be all about E3 this week. So yeah, and go subscribe to that W2 network where you can get all of these podcasts that we've talked about, plus all the other ones that I do, and our partner podcasts as well. So, till later today. See you later, everybody.